Futures trading involves risk and is not suitable for all investors. Content provided in this segment is meant for educational purposes and is not a solicitation to buy or sell commodities.
Hello and happy August. Welcome once again to Pasture to Pin, a new series from the EverAg Insights team. Each week we bring you news and updates on the cattle markets with the intention of helping cattle producers manage their risk. I am your host, Todd Rowen, coming to you live from my home office in the Texas Panhandle. Before we get rolling, let me timestamp this episode. Today is Tuesday, August 1st, 2023, 3:05 in the afternoon. Today, I am joined once again by my co-host and teammate, Mr. Trey Freeman. On this episode, Trey and I will be welcoming our teammate on the cattle team and Montana's very own, Mr. Dan Johnson. Trey, Dan, welcome to the show.
Good to be here again, MT.
Thanks for having me, MT. I appreciate being here.
Happy to have y'all. Looking at pasture conditions and weather, we have 39% of the U.S. pasture in good to great conditions, an improvement from 25% this time last year. 32% of the U.S. is in fair condition, up from 26% last year. 29% of the U.S. is in poor to very poor condition, down from 49% last year. So improvements across the board. Regionally, west of the Rockies is the best since 2019, from Arizona all the way up to Washington. The same can be said for the northern plains, with the lowest rating of poor to very poor in the past 4 years. The central and southern plains are hot and dry, with pasture conditions slipping recently due to extreme heat and missed rains. Weather-wise, while it is also hot in the Corn Belt, the eastern Corn Belt has seen moisture, while the western Corn Belt could use another shot of rain. As we look at the 7-day forecast, it appears that the western Corn Belt may just get some rain, with showers expected from Kansas all the way to North Dakota and then over to Montana. Switching to the cash market, feeder and calf demand in the sale barn appears to be good, even though volumes remain light as we work our way through summer. Feeder steer prices are holding steady. With improved pasture conditions, heifer prices are continuing their trend higher as certain regions of the U.S. contemplate rebuilding their herds. The CME Feeder Cattle Index ended last week at 243.86 for the 7-day average, jumping almost $1 on Friday, July 28th. On the live cash cattle side, prices are trading sideways but remain 178 to 188, with trade continuing above futures, especially in the north. Cutout prices have been trending lower, taking packer margins all the way down to negative $81 a head. However, per this morning's cutout release, choice jumped 628 to 308.06. Trey, could this jump in the cutout be the spark that caused the pricing action we saw in futures mid-morning?
Yeah, the jump in AM box beef prices was just what this market needed to get out of its sideways rut. Excellent closes today in the cattle complex. Live cattle finished $1.50 to $2.30 higher, and feeders $2 to $2.80 higher. Along with the sizable jump in the AM beef cutout values, the continued bleeding in corn and wheat futures also lent their support. Great action technically in feeders after a sideways trade since early July. Charts have been coiling up and building pressure, often indicating a breakout to one side or the other. Feeders prevailed once again, however, so I'd expect the momentum to carry us higher into the rest of the week. Next level of resistance in September feeders is the contract high of 254.32 and support at 250. October fats closed just a couple ticks over former resistance, finishing at 181.82. Next level of resistance stands at 183.72 and support at 179.50. Looking at outside markets, energies continue their climb higher, with crude $15 off the low posted in late June and currently trading around the $81 mark, with gasoline and diesel futures following in suit. Equities also continue their grind higher. These will be supportive to commodities across the board. Now, overall strong action in the cattle complex, with support from what may be the bottoming of box beef prices and cheaper feed costs. Now, on the topic of beef prices, I saw an article the other day that the average interest rate on U.S. credit card balances has moved up to 20.7%. With data going back to 1994, that's the highest rate we have seen. That's historic interest on top of historic balances. So remember, high prices cure high prices. So be sure to keep this in mind as you navigate your risk management decisions.
Definitely. Thank you very much, Trey. Now to reintroduce our guest, the Montana man himself, Mr. Dan Johnson. Dan, Montana is one of the states that has seen big pasture condition and rainfall improvements. Why don't you give us an update from out west?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again for having me. So, things have changed a lot. We were in drought 2 really bad. There was about a 3-year stretch of that, depending where you were at. Conditions really changed. Cow herds got a lot smaller. We saw that throughout those cow inventory reports. So a lot smaller number of herds out here, or at least smaller number of head per herd. So we went through a big winter this last winter, especially in my part of the world. Tons of hay was fed. Going back to what Trey was saying about interest rates, a lot of people talk about having a lot of money out on their operating loans, but now we're kind of getting to the point where we're seeing these video sales and these northern cattle doing really well. Great to see that, but also the producers want to remind us all that, it's been expensive. It's taken a lot to get here, getting through drought and winter, both of those things. But, back to your point of pasture conditions have changed a lot. I don't know if I can quite say we're rebuilding the herd out here, but, I think that's heavily on people's mind. They're trying to weigh out, how can I buy cows? What are they worth? What are bred heifers worth? Should I be selling bred heifers instead? That kind of thing.
Thank you very much, Dan. That was an excellent update. Before we close, let me introduce a new segment that we are going to call Coffee Shop Chatter. So let's go around the horn. Let's talk about the biggest talk or biggest questions in each of our locations, in each of our areas. About what producers are talking about. Dan, if you don't mind, please lead us off.
So hay markets are a huge thing to talk about right now when we look at the Montana hay report from USDA. Last year at this time, hay was reported to them at $260 a ton, large square bales. Now we're at $225 a ton, down about 13%. Also, in my opinion, I think that, it might go down more. We're not quite to the second cutting of most of Montana. So that really is what determines the price. We find out what our supplies are. And, hay really hasn't been traded yet. It really takes some time for people to start planning for winter, planning for things like horse feed. We don't think about that enough, probably, or talk about it enough. So definitely people are really wondering where that's at. The fertilizer price dropped a little bit. And then just a personal opinion, as you talk to people, or as I talk to people and see what kind of hay is being made, it looks like really good bale counts. To be the devil's advocate a little bit, I heard some talk about weevils hurting some hay in Idaho. And then there was also a lot of winter kill with the bad winter we had. I'd also add that, the price of a mother cow is really, it's almost debated right now. Same thing as with the hay market. There hasn't been a lot of trade yet. We'll probably see more of that in the fall. Sale barns don't have a ton of bred cow specials at the time. But as we go forward, we'll start to see those bred heifers get marketed, see what they're worth, see how this interest rate and corn price, hay price, all of it factors in, and where things are going to be at.
Definitely. Very good. Thank you, Dan. Trey, how about Western Oklahoma?
So yeah, around here it'd be the purchase price on these upcoming rounds of cattle. What are these next turns? What are they going to cost? What are the margins going to be? Are we going to be betting on the come? There was a lot of opportunity last year, earlier this year, with the deferred board so high. And now, these margins are really being crunched with some of these calf prices that may look to only be going higher.
Sure thing. As far as the Texas Panhandle south of Amarillo, specifically, how long are these deferred live cattle contracts? How long are they going to stay this high, and how high could they possibly go? Cash is very good. Grid is very good. So it's just nice for these feed yards around here to see. We've got a decent amount of grass. We caught some very good rains in May and June. Guys were planting dryland milo that probably wouldn't have risked it, this time a year ago or 2 years ago. So feed seems like it's going to be available. Guys are waiting just to see how available it's going to be before they pull the trigger on these input prices. So a little similar story to what y'all are saying, just kind of wait and see what the fall brings. That is a wrap for this episode of Pasture to Pen. Thank you to all of our viewers for watching this episode. If you haven't done it yet, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and click the bell to be notified of future episodes. Thank you again to my co-host and teammate, Trey. Thank you to Dan for joining us on this episode. As always, a big thank you to Paige, Corey, and Hattie. A big thank you to the entire EverAg Insights team for making this show a reality. Until next time, stay safe, pray for rain. At EverAg, we partner with every corner of the agriculture industry, from livestock to dairy, crops, and agribusiness, to deliver intelligent supply chain and risk management solutions. We are EverAg, everything agriculture. Learn more at www.ever.ag/everything.